Now, the Earth is flat. You've heard that before. You've also heard that the Earth is round, a sphere, and the overwhelming majority of people believe that the Earth is a sphere. Why? Because of science, because of experiments, equations, measurements, and demonstrations that have been presented to us our entire lives. But today, I want to play devil's advocate. I want to suggest that the truth may have been in front of our eyes all along, and that we may have been trained to interpret what we see in only one allowable way. Humanity has always tried to rationalize visual experience using science. That's not a flaw, it's a strength. But what if the conclusion we were guided toward was only partially correct? What if the Earth is not flat? And what if the Earth is not a full sphere, but instead a half sphere, a shallow curved surface, convex, upon which all human civilization exists? Consider this. If the Earth were a half sphere, many of the same angular measurements we use to argue for a full sphere would still appear valid. If you measure angles between New York City, London, and Australia, the curvature would still emerge. The math would still work. The geometry would still close. From our position on the surface, the distinction between a full sphere and a half sphere would not be obvious. Now consider the southern sky. Star rotation, star paths, and celestial navigation are often presented as definitive proof of a spherical Earth. But on a rotating half sphere, stars would still appear to arc across the sky. They would still rotate. They would still return to the horizon and reappear. From the observer's frame, those motions would not suddenly break simply because the lower half of the sphere is absent. The angles would still be there. The radius would still make sense. The plotted courses of stars would still appear consistent with rotation. Many people say, "I've been in an airplane. I've seen the curvature." And that's true, I have too. But if we were standing on a half sphere, would that observation suddenly become invalid? How would you know what exists on the underside, the portion you can never access or see? After all, how do we know what exists on the far side of the moon unless we rely on images provided to us? Have you personally seen it with your own eyes? Now ask yourself this: if you wanted to go to the South Pole today, could you? Unless you are a scientist, a researcher, or a high-level military individual with clearance, the answer is no. So the average person is asked to accept images, footage, and data curated by institutions. The same institutions that also provide the models explaining those images. Could footage from the North Pole be presented as footage from the South Pole? In an age of digital editing and artificial intelligence, how would you know? AI scrapes what already exists. It reproduces consensus. It reinforces what it is fed. So what is the truth? Humanity has long lived by a simple rule: believe your eyes. And if we were standing on a half sphere, many of the observations we use to argue for a full sphere would still appear valid. The angles would still make sense. The curvature would still be there. The stars would still move. So what if the flat Earth model is wrong, and the full sphere model is also wrong? What if the truth has been hiding in plain sight? Not flat, not fully round, but a half sphere. Welcome to the next generation of questioning.